Hello and welcome to Little Likac podcast, episode 101. My name is Amanda and I'm coming to you from Derby in the UK. Today is Saturday the 22nd of November 2025 and it's a little bit of a grey and drizzly day here in the UK. We have actually had a couple of days of quite nice sunshine. The weather has definitely turned in respect of it has been a lot colder the last few days. We've been down to sort of like freezing temperatures, but I don't mind that when the sun's shining, but I don't like it when it's grey and drizzly, which is what it is at the moment. Anyway, welcome to today's episode. Thank you so much for all the comments on episode 100. We will be drawing prizes and I'm going to do that very shortly. And thank you as well if you let me know if you were an international viewer or a UK viewer. That's going to hopefully help things. So we're going to be drawing prizes for all of you lovely people who commented on the last episode. I've also got quite a few finished objects to show you, some works in progress that I've been doing, a few little acquisitions and also a little bit of a life update. I think some of you recognised in my last podcast that maybe not everything was right with me and we might talk about that at the end of the podcast, or maybe not. We'll see how I feel. All right, so anyway, let's do the winners of this prize draw for 100 episodes of Little Likac. And I am going to say again, thank you for all the lovely comments. Thank you for so many of you as well who said that you've been with me all the way through. Amazing. And also some of you new viewers as well. A few people as well said they had met me or come across me either at Stafford Wool Gathering, which we did at the middle of October, and some of you said that you met me at Whitstable, which we did at the beginning of November. Oh, and that's just reminded me of some other acquisitions. Oh, that's okay, I've got those in my bag. I'll talk about Whitstable when I get to acquisitions. Okay, so let's start with the prize draw. So what I have done, rather than doing a comment picker, I've basically written down everybody's names here who commented on the podcast, and I've put down whether you're a UK viewer or an international viewer. If I don't know which one, we're going to assume international and it will be a pattern prize. Okay, so the first prize that I'm going to draw for, if it is a UK viewer, they will be getting 2 skeins of this DK yarn, 100 grams each skein, so you'll actually get 200 grams of this DK yarn from the yarn artist, and it is the Monet Chrysanthemums colourway. It is beautiful. I'm not sure why I'm giving this away now, but yeah, so if it's a UK viewer, they will win this prize. If it is an international viewer, then it will be a pattern prize that is very, very kindly donated by Nibbles, Needles and Hooks, my one of my local yarn stores, but the local yarn store that I go to most often. So I tend to refer to it now as my local yarn store. So lovely Liz from Nibbles, Needles and Hooks has donated 5 pattern prizes. Okay, so the first, we've got 72 people who've entered the draw. So I'm going to ask my smart speaker. I do always try to edit out me saying the smart speaker's name so it doesn't affect yours. Okay, so choose a number between 1 and 73. 28. Now I know I suddenly said we'd got 72 and then I said 1 and 73. When I looked down I suddenly realised it was 73 because somebody else commented I think last night. Okay, so what was that? Number 28. So that is Jane Scarisbrick, and she is in the UK, and I know Jane has been following and watching the podcast for a long time, so that is fabulous. Jane, you get a pen and I'm going to write down. Okay, so Jane, number 28. Okay, right. So the next yarn prize is this one, which is one of my own dyed. This was from the Mystery Fairy Tales collection from a few years ago. It's a sparkly one. So choose a number between 1 and 73. Okay, 72. That is Crafty Nana 10. and she is also in the UK. And again, I think that is somebody who has been watching. If it's who I think it is, I think it might be another Jane, and she has been watching a long time as well. So Jane, get in touch with me so I can send that to you. Okay, our third yarn prize is this set of the Stretch Yarn Yoga Sock yarn, which is the one, if I remember rightly, this one doesn't have wool in it, it has viscose instead, so it's quite good if you've got any allergy. So it's a bamboo, yeah, polyester and bamboo viscose. Okay, so choose a number between 1 and 73. Number 9. So I'm just writing down. Right, so this is, okay, number 9. Sue Axon. Again, somebody who I know has been watching a long time, and she is also in the UK. I know that as well, so that's fabulous. Okay, so far so good, guys. Right, let's go for this one. So choose a number between 1 and 73. 59. Remember, if it's an international, they'll get a pattern prize. 59. There's 58. 59. Dorothy. Dorothy 2030. Also in the UK. Okay, let's write that one down. That's this one. So Dorothy 2030, get in touch with me and you have won that sock yarn. Okay, and the last physical prize, everything after this will be patterns, is for this one, the pink stretch yoga yarn, the bamboo and acrylic one. So choose a number between 1 and 73. Number 70. I feel like I'm doing bingo. That is Claire Hockley, and she is also in the UK. Okay, right, so next we're going to draw pattern prizes. So it doesn't matter now if it's international or UK. This will be a pattern prize sponsored by Liz from Nibbles, Needles and Hooks. And what we'll do with that is, if you are a Ravelry member, that's going to make it really easy. If you again email me with your Ravelry name details, we can send that, or Liz will then send that through to email me your Ravelry username and also what pattern you would like, and obviously that doesn't include, you know, pattern books and things, so we're talking, you know, below £10, and Liz will send that to you. Now, if you're not a Ravelry user, if you just send me your email, and if you're happy for me to pass that email address on to Liz, and then she'll sort something out with you. Okay, right, so let's keep picking. Let's hope we get some international ones. Pick a number between 1 and 73. 43 is Susan Wild. Okay, and I actually don't know if Susan Wild is UK or international, because she didn't put that on, and I think I did respond to her and say, I think I asked her, but anyway, so Suzanne Wild or Susan Wild, you have won a pattern prize. Get in touch with me and my email address so we can sort that. Let me write 43. Pick a number between 1 and 73. 60. That is Tina Clark. Okay, who is in the UK. Pick another number between 1 and 73. 66 is Joe Lowe, who is in the US. Okay, so that's 66, Joe Lowe. Okay, got 2 more prizes, 2 more patterns. Pick a number between 1 and 73. 31 is Roro and Cades. That is Kelly Menzies, who has her own podcast. Somebody that I have met in person. Oh, Kelly, how lovely that you've won a pattern. Get in touch with me. Well, obviously I have your I already have your email, I'm sure, and I probably can find you out. But anyway, get in touch with me to show me that you've watched this, and we will sort out a pattern for you. It is nice when you know that it is people who have been watching for a long time. That is nice, although everybody is welcome. So we have 1 more pattern prize. Okay, so pick a number between 1 and 73. Number 6 is Claire Woodhead. Again, I feel that is a familiar name. I'm fairly sure that is also somebody who perhaps has been watching for a long time. Honestly though, I promise you, that was all just done randomly, as you heard. The only reason why there are editing bits is because I edit out the name of the smart speaker. Right, fabulous. So there's 5 pattern prizes then going out to, let me say the names again. Hang on, I've written down the numbers. And okay, so the pattern prizes are going to Susan Wild, Tina Clark, Joe Lowe, Roro and Kate and Claire Woodhead. And the yarn prizes are going to Jane Scarisbrick, Dorothy 2030, Claire Hockley, Sue Axon and Crafty Nana. All right, so yeah, email me, guys and ladies. Most of you are ladies. I'm not sure about a couple of people, a couple of usernames there. Anyway, email me and we will sort out getting those prizes to you. Yay! Right, I've actually made some show notes today. And there is a reason for that. And the reason for that is because I have been very, very distracted recently and my memory has not been good and I've been forgetting a lot of things. So I've made some show notes. All right, finished objects. I have at least 4, because I suddenly remembered another one. I have at least 4 finished objects to show you, which isn't bad because it's been 3 weeks since the last podcast and I had a yarn show because last time my podcast was right at the end or almost the end of half term. And then I did a yarn show, which I'll talk about a little bit more. And then I've had 3 weeks. So I have got quite a lot finished. Right, I am going to pull out, I've got a bag here with finished objects, so let's see what the first one is that I pull out. Oh, it is my Aran Weight sweater or jumper knitted using King Cole Firefly Aran. So, that is really blowing out, isn't it? So I'll pop a couple of photos. Hopefully I've got some photos up here of the sweater. If I hold it back here, you can see the kind of sparkly sheen there is on this sweater. One thing that I did not notice when I was knitting it, but I did notice when I put it on, is it has pulled slightly in a slightly strange way across my sort of stomach, and then the armhole shaping, the pooling changed. I don't know if you can see it, but it almost looks, yeah, can you see a little bit of pooling, which to me feels quite noticeable when I wear it, but I might just be being picky here. Now I am planning on wearing this tomorrow. So tomorrow, Sunday, I'm going to the cinema and I'm actually going to a showing of Love Actually, which is going to be a crafting cinema experience where you can actually take your knitting or crochet along with you, I guess other crafts as well. And the lights, they don't put the lights down, so they just have the film on, lots of people knitting, crocheting and enjoying the film together. So I'm hoping to wear that tomorrow. I do really like the feel of the jumper. It is very soft. Be interesting to see what it's like to actually wear. I'll probably just have a little t-shirt on underneath. It is short sleeved. It has got a little bit of detail here with the kind of ridge and these yarn overs. The pattern is actually not that pattern. I've put the wrong pattern in there. Isn't that typical? The pattern is a King Cole Firefly pattern. Again, I'll try and put the number somewhere up here. But yes, I love the colours. I love the sizing on this. I did the largest size, so I am going to say I don't feel it's very size inclusive. Did the largest size, and yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. It's raglan, short sleeved. I'll put the pattern details there, and that's my first finished object. Okay, my second finished object, let's see. This was actually a new cast on, or hook on, because it's crochet, and I started and finished this on the same day. So I saw this pattern. It was a pattern and a kit available as a kit, and I saw it on Instagram. Sarah from Crocreate, she does a lot of quite beginner friendly patterns, crochet patterns, and quite a lot of amigurumi. I think it's nearly all amigurumi actually. And I saw this little fellow and I thought, oh, he is adorable. I want to make one of those. And so I did. So actually the pattern name is Marsha, the Marshmallow, but I decided he's a little lad rather than a little girl. So to me, he is Marshall, the Marshmallow. And he is adorable. Now, he is crocheted in chenille yarn, which is a little bit of a pig. So it said to start with a magic ring, which I just could not do with the chenille yarn. So I didn't. Instead, I just made a very tiny little chain and crocheted in the number of stitches instead. Did it that way because I just could not get a magic circle to work with the chenille. It just wouldn't pull through. Anyway, I ordered the kit because I didn't want to go out and buy full balls of pink chenille, brown chenille, when I just needed those tiny amounts. However, I am so tempted now to go and buy pink chenille and brown chenille and white chenille and make some more. I had him done in one day. The kit, I bought it from Etsy. It's £15, I believe, and the kit included everything. So the eyes, the pink, the brown, etc. And the stuffing, and a crochet hook, and a darning needle. And there were videos for lots of the things. So if you were a complete beginner, I don't think I looked at any of the videos, so I couldn't tell you what the quality of the videos were like because I didn't look at any videos. The only thing I would say is it didn't tell you at what point to stuff your marshmallow. It just said to keep making it and, you know, sew it together, and I was like, it doesn't say to stuff it. I mean, obviously I knew to stuff it and I started stuffing in when I was doing the decreases, and also it said to put the pink, so it tells you when to put in the eyes, and then it tells you to do the pink bits, little cheeks, after you've finished it, and I didn't. I actually put the pink on before I started stuffing it so I could still get inside and sort of like knot the yarn inside. So I did that. Apart from that, you know, I followed all the instructions and I think he is adorable. So this is Marshall the Marshmallow. I have been calling him my emotional support marshmallow. I'll pop him up there for now. So he's very cute. I am all about the cuddly toys at the moment. I've got a couple here sitting near me. Aren't these two adorable? I got these from a website that focuses on reselling pre-loved cuddly toys. So they take cuddly toys, wash them, clean them, package them up, give them a little backstory. Some of the money goes to charity. It's called Loved Before. I am not going to lie, they are not cheap to buy through them, but I think what they're doing is really important because they're very much trying to save cuddly toys from landfill and, you know, help the environment. So they are, anyway, I've had those since my birthday in August. Stu, stop it. My dog Stu is just down here and he's just started to scratch at the rug down here. Yes. Behave yourself. So my next finished object is a pair of socks, and they are the monthly socks for November, and it is the end of November, not even the end of November, and I finished these a few days ago. I say finished, the ends probably need sewing in. I'm just going to pop these on a pair of sock blockers. So I hadn't even started these last time I podcast, because last time I podcast it was still in October. So these were started, I don't think I started them on November the 1st. No, I didn't, because 1st and 2nd of November I was at Whitstable. So I must have started them on maybe the 3rd or 4th of November, and I finished them a few days ago. So go me. Ta-da! Here they are. These are knitted in James C. Brett Funny Feet. And I had a similar experience with these as I did with the last month ones, in respect that the striping sequence went wrong. So again, we're absolutely fine on the leg, and then we went down into the heel, and if you look with the heel on this one, it's got a thicker bit of this darker brown, and so by the time, anyway, yes, it just, on here, the heel flap, not the heel flap, the actual bottom of the heel where you turn the heel, still has this white section, but on here, the white section didn't start till the gusset stitches. And then I still think something else changed. Yeah, down here, so we've got, try and match it. You've got the, where does it start to go wrong again? There's somewhere else where it didn't match. Yeah, here you've got the blue, lilac, brown, white, and here you've got blue, lilac, brown, dark purple, white. So this one's got an extra dark purple stretch there that didn't appear on this one. No idea why, no idea why. Anyway, so they don't match in the feet, but the legs do match. I think sometimes some of the commercial self-striping yarn, perhaps particularly the cheaper brands, because this I think has got a price on it, was £4.50 a ball, whereas if you consider something like West Yorkshire Spinners is more like £8 a ball, so maybe that's partly to do with it, I don't know. You get what you pay for to a certain extent. So anyway, this is Funny Feet by James C. Brett. The colour was FZ03. I did knit them on 2.5mm needles. For some reason I did a 1x1 rib this time instead of 2x2. Don't know why. And I do love them. I actually do really like the colours, and I'm okay with the fact that it doesn't match, because again it's just from the foot onwards, so mostly you won't notice it. So I've only got one more pair to knit for myself. These were for the Socks and You Know It knit along, and if you missed the last episode, I have said that I have finished the knit along in terms of actual drawing prizes and things like that. Now if there is a thread still that I need to draw prizes for, I'll double check that, and if so, we'll do that next podcast. But yeah, again, with things, some things not being great at the moment, I've been looking at trying to cut down on a few things, and so the Socks and You Know It knit along is no longer a public knit along in respect with prizes and things like that. But of course, please feel free to knit along with me. So I've got one more pair of socks to knit for myself, that I've wrapped up that ball of yarn that I'll be opening at the beginning of December. Next year, I'm still planning on knitting a pair of socks monthly, and I'm actually going to do those for my husband, because I also am beginning to feel like I have got enough pairs of socks. Because I knitted myself 12 pairs last year, plus I've got whatever socks I'd already knitted myself, and I've probably knitted more than 12 for myself last year anyway. I will have knitted at least 12 pairs for myself again this year. So yes, I've got, I don't know, at least 35 40 maybe pairs of knitted socks. So next year, the Socksy and you know it make along for myself anyway, I'm going to be knitting socks for my husband, and I did get out a big box of yarn of colours and things that I bought for him, and I've asked him to pick out 12. So at some point in the next couple of weeks I'm going to be wrapping those up, getting him to number them so that again we can pull out a yarn each month, and I'll be knitting socks for him. But I will video that. I'll do a little video of me showing the colours and the colourways that I've got for him, and so yes, that will be next year. But I will say I won't be doing it as a make along with prizes, but feel free, there will still be a thread open on Ravelry, so if you want to post your pictures and look at each other's socks, we'll still do that. So yeah, is this now a good time for me just to talk a little bit about things? So I will just say, again, I don't want to go into very much detail. I mentioned last month or last podcast as well that I thought some students at school had been watching the podcast or watching bits of it, so I'm just being cautious. But anyway, due to some health issues, I am taking some time off work at the moment, or been told to take some time off work at the moment, and that's going to continue for a little bit longer as well. So also from a Little Likac point of view, the mystery club there won't be a mystery club for December, because I'm just going to take time off of that as well. The Etsy shop is still open. Everything that's in the Etsy shop is already been dyed, so all I've got to do is just put that into a wrap it and parcel it and post it, and I can do that, that's fine. But I won't be dyeing any more yarn now till after Christmas, and then hopefully after Christmas things will be better, my health will be better, and I have got plans for a new mystery club for next year, which I'm really excited about. But just for December now, well, from now till the end of December, I'll just be taking a little bit of a step back from Little Likac new work. So yeah, anyway, that's about as much as I want to say on that. But thank you for those of you that have reached out to me. As I say, a few of you I think realised from my last podcast that perhaps there were some issues, and a few of you contacted me and checked in with me, which was very, very kind of you. And I am okay, and I'm doing all right. I'm just, like I say, I've just got to take some time off. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, that's enough of the depressing stuff. Right, other finished objects. This is an almost finished object. And this is a baby cardigan or jacket that I'm knitting, or nearly finished. I've done all the knitting. I've just got ends to sew in and buttons to sew on. It's a cardigan or a little jacket. Hopefully I've got the right one now. Quite a few paper patterns at the moment. This is quite a tatty pattern. So the pattern itself is by Sirdar, and it's 1813. And I have done the second size, which is 6 to 12 months, and this is for a friend at work for her granddaughter. So I've still got some ends to sew in, and I need to choose some buttons and put the buttons on. But here it is. So there's a little cabled jacket. You've got a cable coming down the sleeves, just one plain cable. The back has got 4 cables going across the back. And then each front panel has a cable as well. So I like the collar detailing, like with the little stripe of colour, and casting off as well in the main colour. I've just used a mixture of acrylic yarns that I had in my stash for this one. So we've got a pink, which I think was from somewhere like Poundland or B&M, one of those. So it's a fairly standard DK acrylic. The cream came from Aldi, and this turquoisey again I think was somewhere like Poundland or B&M, somewhere like that. So I've just got some I need to find some buttons, get those sewn on, get the ends sewn in, and then I'll be getting that sent off to my colleague, and I hope she loves that for her granddaughter. And I believe that is all the finished objects. So let's talk about what else I've been working on. So because I have been off work for a couple of weeks, I have had more knitting time. So I have had quite a few different projects out. I've been trying to focus on finishing things that are already on the needles. So other than things I'd kind of already planned to make, I have cast on something that wasn't in the plans. But apart that, you know, I have been pulling out projects, older projects and whips, and trying to work on those. So let's have a look. What have we got? So this one was one of my 12 cast-ons. And I was working on this quite slowly, to be fair, to doing the back of it. And then I sat there and I picked it out at the beginning of this week. I'd already knitted the back, so I'd got the front to do. And I actually sat there and kind of went, right, if I can do, it's a colour work. I was going to call it Fair Isle, but it's not technically Fair Isle. And apparently some people are very precious about the word Fair Isle. Okay, I'm saying nothing on that. I just think some people maybe take things too seriously. Life's too short to get into some of the arguments people have gotten into about that particular TV programme. I'm just going to say, Game of Wool, I'm enjoying it. I'm sorry if that makes me some kind of traitor to the knitting community, but I'm enjoying it for what I think it is, which is just a fun, light entertainment programme. I never expected it to be a serious history of knitting programme, etc. I'm sorry if other people are disappointed by it, but I'm enjoying it. Anyway, colourwork vest is what I'm working on, because it's not Fair Isle, because it's not knitted in the round, and I don't want to upset anybody. So anyway, I had finished the back, and I had thought there's no way I'm going to get this finished before Christmas, and then actually I've kind of gone, yes I can, if I make sure I do a section per day, a section of the colourwork per day. In fact, if I have a section of the colourwork per day done, I'm going to have this finished by the first week of December, or in the first week of December. So this is the Nancy vest. It is so beautiful. I do absolutely love it. And I bought this yarn and pattern kind of as a kit from Buxton Wool Gathering 2024, I think. So not that long ago. And I cast it on as one of my 12 cast-ons of Christmas. See if I've got number 3. So I cast it on Boxing Day. That was brave of me. I've probably just focused on that, to be fair, on the Boxing Day. Anyway, so I was like, yeah, actually, if I do a section per day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I was like, in theory, that's 12 days of the colour work. Then obviously I need to sew it together and do the neckline and arm ribbing, so again armhole ribbing, so again a couple of days for that. I was like, okay, that's 2 weeks work to do the front of it. So I then weighed my yarns, because I was looking at the pattern and noticed it said for the largest size you needed 2 balls of one of the other colours. I knew that I needed 2 balls of this, and I had 2 balls of that, and I was like, I haven't got 2 balls of any of the other colours. So I weighed all of the other colours, and to my horror, so these are 100-gram balls, and all of the other colours I had over 50 grams. In fact, I think I had 75 grams left of some of them, but this one, the grey, I only had 45 grams left, and I was like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble, I've used 55 grams. And the yarn is the Wensleydale Longwool, yes, Wensleydale Longwool DK. And I was like, they've finished trading. Their last show was Yarndale, and they've sold everything off. And sure enough, I went to their website, and it said, "We've closed." I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So then I went on Ravelry, and I found 2 people on Ravelry who had used some of this. And I thought, well, if they've used some, maybe they've got some left over. So I messaged the 2 people and said, "Hi, this is a long shot, but I don't suppose you have got any of this left." And because I'd used 55 grams, I thought, well, in theory, I only need, like, what do I need? An extra 10 grams. And one of the Ravelry users got back to me about 24 hours later and said, "I'm really, really sorry. I've got less than 1 gram left. I've got like about a couple of meters. I don't think that'll be any good to you." And I went, "No, it won't, but thank you so much." And she said, "Have you tried contacting Wensleydale Longwool on their socials, because they're still active on Facebook?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I haven't." So I went to the Facebook page and sent a message, and then I thought, oh, I could also put on Instagram, put a little appeal, "Has anybody got any of this?" So I did that. I went to Instagram stories and took a picture and put it onto my story saying, "I don't suppose anybody has got some leftovers of this," and I tagged Wensleydale Longwool in it. 20 minutes later, maybe even less than that, a lovely lady from Wensleydale Longwool got in touch with me and said that she actually did have some leftovers, not a full skein, and she would happily send me up to 20 grams of it. And I was like, oh my goodness, yes please. And so she did send that to me. I have sent her some money for it. It's not the same batch, it's not the same colour dye lot, but because it's colourwork, that won't really matter. It's a little bit more blue perhaps than this one, but I'm really pleased because I think I'm definitely actually am going to need more like 20 grams rather than the 10 that I thought it was going to be. I've been weighing and calculating, and so I think I'm just going to have enough, but I was getting really stressed. So anyway, yeah, so that arrived, and so now thankfully, this is how much I've got done of the front. So last night I did this heart section, which means today or this evening's work is getting another section of the flowers, and the flowers do take quite a while. The flowers take quite a while, and this section here, or it is because that's super fiddly, this one. The hearts are quite a quick one to do. So she'll get working on this afternoon and this evening. What I'll probably do is do the first half of the flowers and then take a little break from it and then come back and do the next half of the flowers. But isn't it beautiful? So the pattern, you can't buy the pattern anymore, and in fact you couldn't buy the pattern online anyway. I think it was only sold as part of this kit. Well, I'm assuming you can't buy the patterns anymore online. Might be worth double checking. But so it's from the Wensleydale Longwool sheep shop. That was the pattern. You can see obviously I've changed some of the colours. I went for a grey and a dark purple, kept the light pink and the bright pink, but in here they'd got like a cream and a green, and I went with the grey and the dark purple. So yeah, I'm going to keep working on this. As I say, in theory, I think I should be able to get it finished beginning of December. So if I keep up with my sort of schedule, and you know what, if I don't keep up with my schedule, that's okay as well. But I am feeling quite motivated on this at the moment. I think the fact that I can in my head to begin with, I was like, there's no way I'm going to get that finished before the end of the year. And then I was suddenly like, actually, yes, I could get this finished. And so now at the moment, I really want to. But if it starts to become a chore, if it starts to become, I don't want to pick this up, then that's okay too. We can do that. We can leave that. I'm trying not to put pressure on myself. But at the moment, I feel like I really want to finish that in that time. The fact that I could get it finished makes me excited because I'd love to wear it. So I nearly put it in the naughty corner when I thought I wasn't going to have enough yarn, and well, I wasn't going to have, when I realised I wasn't going to have enough yarn, and I was like quite upset. So the fact that the lady from the yarn company got back to me so quickly and then sent that to me, thank you. See, the knitting community is wonderful. So talking of things that need finishing, these socks, I love these, but for some reason they just seem to be taking me forever. These are the Daedalus socks. However, I think since the last time you saw these, I have finished this first sock. Perhaps this was the progress keeper of where I got to. I don't know. If I'm really honest, I don't know. In fact, let's put that progress keeper into the second one. This is one that actually when I'm working on it, it goes quite quickly, but just other projects seem to take priority. It's not, I think, because usually with socks are something I can just pick up and knit without having to look at a pattern. And of course with this one, you do have to look at the pattern, every single row. But it's worth it, isn't it? So it's called the Daedalus socks. And it's by Kelly Menzies, Row and Kate, one of the earlier prize winners. And it is a lovely pattern. And this was part of her sock along for March and April. So I started these at the beginning of April. Anyway. And every month I say to myself, I'm going to get those finished this month. Yeah, it's the 22nd of November. I don't think these are going to be finished by the end of November. And I'm definitely not going to put pressure on myself to have them finished by the end of November. The only one now that I feel like has got, you know, sort of like a deadline in my head is the Nancy vest. I am not going to put a deadline on these. We're just going to keep working on them. If I get them finished by the end of the year, fabulous. I will be very happy. So I have done the rib for the second sock. And I'm about to start on the mosaic knitting. It's mosaic rather than colourwork. And that means you use slip stitches rather than swapping your yarn over. I'm knitting this in West Yorkshire Spinners. The Silent Night, which is a sparkly Christmas colourway from a few years ago. And this white one, which is called Marshmallow, I believe. And it is white rather than cream. And they are knitting up beautifully. I don't know, I just don't pick them up, which is really annoying because once I do pick them up, I can get quite a bit done. They just don't seem to be in my head as a priority. So, I think because if I'm wanting to do, or I've got space to do something complicated, I'm working on the Nancy vest. And if I want to do something, some socks because they're just easy to do, these are not the socks for that time. They're not difficult, but you have got to follow the pattern. So, yes, aim-wise, to have those finished by the end of the year, not the end of November. Right, what else have we got? Another pair of socks. And these are the ones that have been coming with me for when I need or when I can do something simple and mindless, are these socks. Because with these socks, it is just a vanilla pattern. And I am also again using West Yorkshire Spinners, the Nutcracker, again, Christmas colourway from a few years ago, sparkly. These are for my husband. The blue that I'm using is the Signet Wool Rich. Wool Rich or Rich Wool? Truly Wool Rich Signet 4-ply. That's what I'm using for the heel flap and ribbing and the toes. So yeah, I've been taking these with me if I want to. Well, I had obviously the plain vanilla monthly socks, but then there's also these as well. Would like to finish them before Christmas, but again, if I don't, I don't. No pressure. So we'll find a progress keeper though and put progress keeper in those. Oh, I've got a little Christmassy one. Let's put that on. So, yeah, we'll keep working on those. Probably be a couple of weeks before I podcast again. So we'll see how much progress. As I say, I've got those socks and the Daedalus socks. I've done the monthly socks. So socks wise, those two pairs can get more attention. So I was getting a little bit fed up of working on the same projects though. So I pulled out another project from the 12 Cast Ons. And this is my Ranunculus, which was cast on number 11 out of 12. And this had not seen any work on it whatsoever since I cast it on what would that have been, about the 4th or 5th of January. And it's this Ranunculus that I am doing in this silver, I want to say like a rayon cotton viscose. It's Garn Studio, so what is what's it called now? Isn't Drops part of Garn Studio? But this is old stash, really old. And it's cotton viscose, 54% bommel and 46% viscose. I'm sure I've looked up what bommel is. Yes, it says Drops in it here, there. Drops. Drops Design, Garn Studio, cotton. I want to say that it's some kind of cotton and viscose. Anyway, well, yeah, it's called cotton viscose. So it's 54% cotton, I think, and 46% viscose. Anyway, in this silver, and I'm holding it double, and I'm fairly sure I did swatch, and I'm doing it on 7mm needles, and I'm just starting the pattern bit of the Ranunculus. And I've just lost my stitch marker, haven't I? Pop that back on in a second. Let's move the progress keeper. I did have stitch stoppers on this, but I think because they're quite thick needles, even the stitch stoppers keep coming off. So, such thick needles. So anyway, yeah, I pulled that out, I think again because I thought with it being silver, it would be something quite nice for the festive season. So, and 7mm needles, fairly straightforward, you know, fairly quick knit, hopefully. So, yeah, pulled that out. We'll see how much that gets worked on over the next few weeks. But if I'm waiting for appointments or I'm at home and things like that, I've got a lot of time to do knitting at the moment, I guess. I have also been working on blanket squares. I honestly can't remember the last ones you saw of these. Did you see these ones finished? I think you did. No, I think I was in progress on these ones. So, I think last time you saw my blanket squares, these ones were in progress. And I have got some more. I'm just looking around because I've got some more in progress that I can't spot right this second. I've just remembered which bag they're in, so if need be I'll go looking for them. So these are my blanket squares for the mini mystery club that I've been doing this year, the Hercule Poirot ones. And again, I had in my head, I've got to have these finished by the end of the year, got to have it finished by the end of the year. And again, I'm trying to let that go and sort of say, just work on them as and when you want to. They are the crochet block called the Willow square from this book, 200 crochet blocks for blankets and throws and afghans, blankets, throws and afghans by Jan Eaton. I might just need to disappear to find the ones that I've been working on more recently though. Everything is such a mess over here now. It is here, because I had these in a separate little bag. And these were the September colours. And I have done 2 of the squares, I believe. Yeah. in the September colours. So I'm not too far behind on these now. And again, no pressure. You just do it as and when we feel like it. If it gets finished by the end of the year, amazing. If it doesn't, where are the knitting police or the crochet police? They're going to come and get me? I don't think so. Okay, it's getting a bit dingy in here, so I've just turned some lights on and had a bit of a move around. Right, where did we get up to? So one more project work in progress that I've done a tiny bit on this last couple of weeks is a waistcoat, or another vest top basically, which is this one, which is again one that I started in as one of the 12 cast ons. Definitely need to move this progress keeper. This was number 7 of the 12 cast ons. That's the back of it. This is just, again, this is another Sirdar pattern leaflet. It's this one. So it is Sirdar Crofter DK was the pattern the yarn originally the pattern was for. It's 9704. I am knitting, I think, the 3rd size on this, and if I remember rightly, I was doing some adjustments with the swatches and things like that. So I'm using, I think, a 4.5mm needle. I have done the back and one of the fronts. I've got quite a lot of yarn left because I've got a whole other ball of it, so I had thought I wasn't going to have enough. This is King Cole Country Tweed, and when I did my maths, and I don't know what went wrong somewhere, I was worried that I wouldn't have quite enough, so I did the ribbing in this brown, which is a Berger de France, is it? Yarn. So yeah, the ribbing is in that, and then I've just started doing the main stocking stitch in the coloured patterning yarn. Now with this one, where are we up to? What was I going to say? Don't know. I'm going to tell you something else about this. I've only got, I know, the second front to do, and then, oh yeah, I know, I'm now thinking though that I might do the front ribbing and the neck ribbing in this rather than the brown. We will see. I'll make a decision on that once I've done the front, because I will have, I'm sure I'm going to have more than enough of this to do the ribbing as well in the patterned yarn. So I think that's what I will do. So that's not had a lot of work on it, but again, there's a lot of plain stocking stitch on this. There's a bit of shaping to do if I remember rightly, but not a huge amount. So again, this could be a good one for when I need some mindless knitting. So we'll get that folded up. So this just leaves me now with one new cast on and some acquisitions to show you. So if you're still with me, thank you very much, because it's been a long one today. So the other cast on that I have started is, or the other project that I've started, is a knit vent one from Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade, and I do like her knit vent patterns. So I don't often knit very many of them during this period of time, November, December, because I'm very often finishing things off. But I just love having those patterns for quick knits. There's always a hat, cowl, shawl, and a big sort of adventy type project for using advent yarn. So the advent yarn one this year was called the Button Box Throw, and it's very similar to the anthology throw, apart from the anthology throw was circular and this one is square. So I have made a start on it, and what I'm using, I bought a ton of 10-gram minis off of a friend a couple of years ago who was having a de-stash, And I bought loads of minis that were of a sort of similar sort of hue, and so I went through and picked out 24 of those. And then I just put them into an order, lay them down. They're 10 gram minis. You'll see there's a lot of purples, a few, there's a green and a blue there, small blues, another pale green there. So yeah, I've made a start on this. I haven't done very much, to be fair, because again, I sort of like started on it and then I was like, okay, now let's get working on other things that need doing. I have got a progress keeper here that actually says beginning of round, so I'm going to pop that on. This is the beginning of the round, so let's get that on there for now. But we'll also put another progress keeper, because actually I need to keep that in the right place, so let's put another progress keeper. Another nice project that's relatively mindless. You just have to keep an eye on your increases, and there's some yarn overs. That's the beginning of it. I do need to put this now onto a, again, one of my stitch stoppers has come off. I do need to put this onto a bigger circular needle now as well, actually, to be fair. So I think that's why I've left this one for a little while, because I need to find a bigger circular needle. I think it's on 4mm needles. So we'll get some other things off the needles before we do too much more on this, but it's looking very pretty. So I have worked on quite a lot, hoping to get some more things finished over the next few weeks, but also hoping just to knit and work on what I'm enjoying rather than worrying about getting things definitely finished. Anything that gets finished is a bonus. So acquisitions. So I mentioned that I went to the yarn show at Whitstable at the beginning of November. I really wasn't sure what to expect. I knew it was going to be small, wasn't really sure how many people we were going to get and how busy it was going to be, and hoping that I was going to cover the costs because it was quite a long way to travel to. And actually it was great. It was great. So we did have, they did, because it was only a small show, the cost of the ticket was only £5, I think. And you had a morning ticket or an afternoon ticket, which was great because there wasn't enough there necessarily for people to necessarily spend all day anyway. So I think a morning or an afternoon was the right amount of time for people. And it also meant we got a fresh set of customers coming in the afternoon. And so, yeah, I was very, very happy with, you know, I covered my costs and more, which is great. It was definitely worth my while going. So I'm hoping to go back to it again next year if they run it again next year. And met some lovely people. Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful was there again, and met her at Yarndale. She came and said hello, spent a bit of time, which was lovely. And yeah, just met. What was nice was having a yarn show down in the southeast of the country. I'm hoping that meant, well, I'm sure it meant that there were people who had never seen me before were able to see my yarn, so that was lovely. And I was in a space with 3 other vendors. There was just 4 of us in this, like, we called it the shed, the garden shed. No, it was this studio outside, just outside of the castle. And I was actually quite, to begin with, we were a bit worried, maybe we were a bit stuck out and were people going to come and find us, but plenty of people did come and find us. And the other people I was with Kate from, I think it's Kate Whiting Designs, and Diana from, hang on, I can tell you, because I bought something from her. Diana Benstead, and what's her company called? The Crochet Chain. And then there was also another, that's the sweater pattern for the one that I was looking for earlier, of course it is. And there was also another called Farm Crafts, and she did a lot, she had a lot of like hand spun, what would you call it? Hand spun, what do they call it? Not artist yarn. You know what I mean though, it's not really for knitting with, it's more kind of decorative or weaving. Yeah, it's gone out of my head what that's called. Anyway, while I was down there in the shed with those other lovely people, Kate Whiting, she was a designer, so she wasn't selling knitted items. She makes the most beautiful dolls that she does actually sell as dolls. They were beautiful, but she also then sells patterns for mostly shawls, mitts, cowls maybe, that kind of thing. And she did have some lovely patterns, but she'd also got a big box of yarn that she was selling off, and this was yarn that was that she had bought. It was basically her stash, but for various reasons a lot of the dyers no longer existed and things like that, so she didn't want to design with them. And these caught my eye. She'd got 3 skeins of this yarn, and it's by, what are they called? Family Tree Yarns, who no longer dye, and the colourway is called Muddy Hem, and I just thought it was absolutely beautiful. And as I say, she'd got 3 full skeins of it. It is 75% superwash, 25% nylon, 4-ply, fingering weight, and this, there we go. Got 3 skeins of it, and it's just beautiful. So it's kind of got this brown and slightly purples and greens, speckles, and I just like, I've got to buy that. So I did. Isn't it absolutely beautiful? So I bought those, and then Diana, the crochet chain, she has got patterns, and she usually sells kits as well, but because she was quite limited on space, she didn't have kits with her, she just had the patterns. A lot of blanket patterns, some garments, some shawls, and she had this beautiful blanket, this lovely blanket here. Now she'd got it in this colour scheme, which I thought was very much my colours, and she had it in that colour scheme. And she had the pattern, and it's not just a pattern, it's an amazing, she calls it her masterclass blanket, because it has lots and lots of pictures and tutorials for you for each part. So I don't want to show too much detail, but you know, there's lots of pictures, and it's beautifully all in nice large print, and I thought that was a really good buy. And she'd actually got some of them had been misprinted slightly, so she'd got these reduced. So I was like, I'm going to buy that, because I think that, I mean, these colours are beautiful. I may actually get a kit from her, order a kit in those colours. They're just lovely. So Diana Benstead is a crochet designer and teacher, and she also organises the Waltham Abbey yarn show. So we had a chat, really good chat as well, and I might consider going down to the Waltham Abbey show in January and popping down there. It's a couple of hours drive, but I'm quite tempted to go down and take a look at that one, because I've never been to that one and I have heard good things about it. And then maybe I'll buy the kit. So I might go down to that in January. And well, I think that is it. I think that is everything. So this is going to be over an hour. So thank you if you have watched to the end. Thank you for all the lovely messages that people have sent me. As I said before, that I'm just going to try and take things a little bit easier over the next month or 6 weeks or so, and hopefully be fighting fit to go back to work in January. That's the plan. And yeah, if you've won a prize, please get in touch with me and we'll get those posted out as quickly as we can. And I will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye for now. Thank you.